Hey y'all, welcome to the first episode, the first official episode of On the Chopping Block. Tonight, I hope to share and express a beautiful and truly fairy tale life that I have been very privileged to get to have. And I understand why things happen. It took me a long time to understand that I was impacting things before I was even impacting them and going through things that needed to be recited and told back. But the story is long, it's lengthy. Tonight I'm going to tell you about my beautiful childhood, about what I believe is the evil in the world and the good fight in the world, what I've created because of my knowledge and seeing certain things with my line of work, which has been very all over the place and so unpredictable to the point where I wouldn't even have been able to guess my life story. I watched a podcast recently about some man, and I don't remember who it was he was talking to, but he said something along the lines of like someone who's actually seen and done these things and been through these things in the world, you know, they're not speaking. And I just won't be one of those situations anymore. I can't. And I understand why it's me. And I think that that's where I should start, why I understand why it's me and why it's okay that so many people don't accept me for what it is that I express and what I showcase, and they feel inferior or even threatened by it. You know, I think a lot of people in my life have prepped me for the world and all the things that I've dealt with, you know, and I think we all have similar situations. The collective is, in my opinion, the most incredible connective tissue that flows through this planet. There's a bug. And we're all tethered. You're either in the collective or you're in the metaverse, and I will get into that. You know, a lot of things from my childhood, from an early standpoint, were so magical. I was born in Venice, California, and my whole life was about taking things and creating things out of the garden. And I think for a long time, I really was like, why is my mom making me do this? And it didn't snap for a while. But I think when I turned 3 or 4, things really magical started to happen to me. And I did already believe in another world, but I was being shown something. And when you're shown something at a young age, you don't decline it. It's just real. So, you know, I think a lot of the things that happened to me, I took in and I kept it close to my heart. And it didn't shake me. It just molded me into this fairy tale type wanderlust creature that wanted to know more. And it turns out that, you know, the only secret to the universe is to want the truth, and you'll get it. So I hope today I can be a cheat sheet for people who are lost and make y'all understand that there are 2 ways on this planet, and that I have fully understood why the powers that be do what they do. I understand the allure. I understand everything. Somebody like me who has literal dreams that come true the next day, or daydreams that are just the most random movies in my mind that end up happening the next day. Someone like me, when that happens to them, you know, it's not hard for me to understand that there's another way. And I understand that people don't understand there's another way. But my whole life, growing up, I knew that, a lot of things were misconstrued on purpose. And I think that that's what made me a great brander and a great designer, is that I really did dig deep on how people were selling things and what it was and what they really were trying to do. And, I think that people don't understand really what it all is and why the big effort is being made. So, I think it's really essential for everybody to understand that before I get into my beautiful childhood of fairies and mermaids and Atlantis and everything else, the powers that be are a certain select of humans that are hybrid, that have been basically put into a position because of the government, and they possess control over certain networks, certain narratives. These are called archons. And to the archons, I am monad. And I will explain to everybody what that means later, but I am of monad and I am monad. And that means that I am the highest level of understanding of what they are. And I will understand more within the realm of opening up this podcast, because there's so many people here that will take this information, run with it, want to do stuff with it, and I'm here for that. The archons, the reptilians, if you want to call them, they offer people beautiful lives overnight. They give them a reptilian brain, and they teach them technology, which in my mind, I say technology, which is literature. And Freemasons are mostly, about 99% of them, not doing anything correct. They worship a fake god that dresses up as the creator, who is a woman. The creator is a woman, just so that we're all clear. I mean, it's really not that far-fetched that nature can create itself in a flower, in a tree, and do you think that God isn't a woman? Dressing up as Baphomet for ritual and killing animals in the name of your God that you owe a soul to once you've left here is not talent. It's not knowledge. It's bullshit. And for people like me who can see through the realms and see where you go after this, I pity you. And you can take what you've taken. Take it. It's hysterical. You took what I sat on for years and didn't do anything with, and cleared my hard drives and all of these things that are just so ridiculous. And you think that it was smart, like that I would have never opened my mouth. That's what the archons always want. They want to demonically possess other people who are in the limelight. I would like to permanently call out the Kardashians to begin with for this, as they are working with the archons and they are Satanists posing as Christians. They employ rapists and they do satanic ritual, and they employ those rapists to go out on those photo shoots with a new talent, such as myself, hire them to rape and sexually assault the competition and or anyone they've stolen from, like they stole from my hard drive, shared it with Beyoncé, shared it with Chrome Hearts, shared it with Jessie Joe, shared it with Maddie, whatever the fuck little ideas in your brain that you thought would ever prevail with this was a part of the archons' intelligence. You are here as a fucking ritual for them. And you think that you're on anything, demanding and commanding demons? You're not. And the highest bloodline, the only bloodline that can actually do that, is mine and certain people. So when you do it against me and the language of Enochian, the Bible, the real Bible that has been literally deleted and is in the fucking hands of one of the most beautiful families that created America, that their money was stolen from. You hear about this $1 trillion fucking fund that we have. Yeah, that's Howard Hughes's money. Stolen. Plenty of people out there cloning him, trying to get his accounts open, fuck his accounts open, sell his properties, sell his boats, all for anything at the last moment before they all fail. The only thing that you should know about what I'm doing right now is that I am tethered to what is life, what is God. And once again, what is happening around this planet right now is because certain people did their best to try and save this planet. And I'm going to tell you all about that and how I was responsible for a lot of that and part of it, and how crazy my life has been ever since that. You know, 5 years ago or 6 years ago, I'm really not even sure yet at this point, like it's like 2026, 6, 7, 8, I was engaged to one of the most amazing men in the world. And Michael was a recovering heroin addict, and he had gone and done iboga and came home. We weren't together at the time, and when I met him, he was sober. And, you know, there's some weird message on my phone that I don't know where it came from, but it came from a certain person in this realm of people that I was just speaking about. And I don't know. I remember him seeing the message, my fiance, and me saying, oh, I don't know that person, and then him messaging him back something's ridiculous, and then basically Michael just sending a bunch of ridiculous stuff to him to make him upset and leave me alone. He didn't leave me alone. I went to sleep that night, and my dreams were swiped. And I've really not dreamt a clear night's dream since. And with all the energy work and all of the protection work that I do, I would have to be 100% sober for me to not be completely tethered to the golem and the death ritual that they did to me. My shade is still here, but my soul has been killed on a certain timeline for their ritual. So, I'll explain all about that as well. You cannot kill the selected bloodline to save Earth. It's just not going to happen. The CIA knows it. The FBI knows it. Your government knows it. Trump knows it. And everybody who deals with their bullshit in my face knows it. I feel like I should start with what happened after I spoke to Maddie and what happened to my life, because I think that that's what a lot of people want to hear on here. And I think that that's really important because a big story in my life has repeated with this person. And it's an abusive, sick, in the closet man that has nothing to give to the world besides his hollow heart. And unfortunately, I guess I attracted one once, my first love. He was, you know, who knows if he was in the closet, but damn, did he scar me. And then after that, I just picked all these men that just turned out to be so emotionally stunted, and, you know, half of them were gay. So the world that we live in, it's not a secret, but it's very much spotty. So I'd like to really, you know, say that every single person that did what they did to me, I pity you, and I feel bad that you have such an anger and a place of discomfort in your life that you have to hurt other people. as a little girl, working at Disney, I had a situation where an older man grazed the back of my butt and my back. And it was very quick, and it definitely made me just totally shut down. I was very young. But I remember looking at that man in the eyes and saying, wow, you're sick. And it's just that you're sick. And once my story comes out about what you did and how you took recordings off of my phone of me screaming at my brother because we were fighting, because my brother had just gotten home from my dad's hospital bed and they had told him that he had stage 4 cancer and was going to die. You decided to put those screamings in a Jack Harlow song, Diddy, and the boys that are literally like the boys I would have smacked across the face in middle school. You fucking shrub. I don't really know what pivots the demonic to not work on themselves and embarrass everything else, but how embarrassing for you that your dick is so small you have to fucking make little artists who don't even work on themselves in a promotional way feel small. That's what you did. You wanted to pretend like it was hitting on me when I'm a psychic. And I can see that you're sitting in those motherfucking disgusting sex rooms and sex parties, training women and fucking them with ritual and doing all this demonic shit. You just wanted to fuck me, Drake, Jack, Maddie, all of you. You just wanted to use me and make me what? Does anybody want to guess? Does Jocelyn ring a bell? I'm not a whore. I'm an educated woman. And I'm here to literally decide your fate. Every day, decide what I want. And if I wanted somebody to come and deal with you so that you didn't have to hear this, I would have. But I want you to hear this. We're having Clicquot tonight. Coffee. And I ate literally 14 meals in the last 14 hours, swear to God. So, coffee and champagne. You know, when Maddie didn't get his way with me and he kept selling my art on Google Drive to people, and I saw my music video that Natalie Lee Cohen directed, also Jessie Joe's friend. She contracted all of them. She's the one who hates me the most because Maddie is obsessed with me and I'm his muse, which is not what I am. I'm his potential beard. And when he couldn't make me his beard, he found a girl who looked just like me, a sick-looking porno hoe that, you know, doesn't do anything for the world, bring anything to the world besides her fucking dumb brain. And he thought that doing sex rituals with her, getting a dog that looks like me, and starting a little house in a frickin' prairie, like textbook house life, was going to somehow ritualize my life out of my life and steal my life form finally, so I wouldn't say this to the world, that you're a closeted gay man. Just like most of the men that you hang out with in AA, like my other ex-boyfriend, Tyler Ash, whose dad did the scoring for Pulp Fiction, touched his son in the fucking, like, shower. And the guy literally tormented me for years. And I was sick to my stomach. The kid would fucking bring me fucking alcohol and weed and get me so fucked up, and I'd wake up in the morning and I'd have literally fucking bruises all over my fucking body because this man hadn't worked on his fucking daddy issues. Because all of you men are sick. So fucking sick. You know, I think the reality of all of it and why I ended up being contracted into the CIA after they failed several times to kidnap me and do certain things to my body By the way, all the people that were responsible for that mission are dead. Let me just say that. The CIA and my story conveniently pair up with the story of losing all my art and the experience of being killed on a different timeline. I remember waking up once he had done it. He left my home and there was flies all around the mirror, and I knew that it was demonic. And this is before that I knew a lot about, energy and energy work, and I did my own protection energy work with the language of Enoch, but I didn't know the length of what you could do with certain knowledge. So we'll get into that. But when this ritual happened, it was instant. I woke up and there was nothing in my stomach. And when somebody kills you on all the timelines and tries to take you out, you become basically a hot topic soul for the rest of the matrix. So things started to show up, and this is where it gets really weird. Interdimensional beings that couldn't basically come into my area because I had been killed on a certain timeline, and they were saying goodbye to me. At the time, I had no idea what I was headed into. And yeah, those few days that I didn't know the man that saved my life and is going to save the world, and I'm sure of it, those few days were the most ridiculous and telling for what these people and the lengths that they go. My psychic abilities went up the wall. I could go on to every dimension. I could see dead people beyond every dimension. It was like I could see the 20s, I could see the 40s, I could see the 60s. And I couldn't really sleep either. It was like I was awake and I was sleepwalking. I was already dead. I felt dead. I even said it. I recorded it. I was like, he killed me. He did something. I know. And at the time, I was living in my office, and I had given my bedroom up to somebody who was a Reiki healer and studying art and fashion. And she moved here from New York. And it turned out that she was actually involved with some people who actually wanted the technology that I was working with. And she was working on trafficking me. And a day before I went out of town, and I'm pretty sure that was when her plan was going to be to traffic me because they wanted my technology and to steal my technology. We were on the phone, me and her, and she accidentally switched me over to the call that she was getting, which was a scientist who had just been introduced to her through a contact, and he was looking for movie money. And that basically started my relationship with one of the smartest men and my mentor and teacher and the person who I owe my entire life to. It's just really, there's no way to really say it. I owe everything to who I will be calling Charlie from here on out until he does his official debut. So Charlie was a very gifted angel, pretty much. And like I said, there's a lot of different kinds of beings on this planet, and Charlie would definitely be one of those. His mom was very gifted, and he is very gifted. And basically, we just started chatting, and I have psychic ability to the point where I can feel people's good energy or bad energy. And I could trust this man, and I knew that he has so much in his brain, and I felt it, and I just was hungry, and I wanted to learn. So I listened to everything for years. It's been years. Within a year of knowing him, I had really planned to debut him to the world. And I actually, in a way, wasn't going to debut him, but I knew that something was going to try and stop me, and it would come out. And it did. And that man's name was, for lack of a better word, what we call him is Bond. And Bond is actually the original inspiration in the family of the MI6 man, James Bond, from early 1900s or whatever year it was, the 50s, the 60s, I'm not sure, 40s maybe even. I'm not sure. But yeah, I was pulled onto a phone call one day with a man who basically claimed to be Biden's right-hand man, and I ended up becoming, within his knowledge and understanding, a trained psychic to keep him alive. Little did I know that I was basically being employed to